I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with the no half step in hockey coverage, let me first direct you to renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the Renegades of Puck. And once you're there, you can click on that merchandise link. That'll show you our classic logo t-shirts, our Pride logo t-shirts, all of our special event t-shirts, our brand new line of Jam t-shirts and no half step t-shirts, and all the gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck, including socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. You can outfit your entire house and your entire self with Renegades of Puck merchandise. We've sold out so that you can buy in. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you for picking up some merchandise. Social media, the easiest way you can help this operation out. It doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't take you but a second. But a like, a subscribe, a comment, those things go a long way to helping this operation. You can find us on a myriad of social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can also find us on varying other platforms. YouTube is where you can find our video podcast. Twitch is where you can find our live stream. And of course, all the great podcast locations: Stitcher, Google, Spotify, Amazon. All of those locations are where you can find the Renegades of Puck podcast. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you'd like to become a partner or a sponsor of the show, you can do that by going to Venmo. Very easy. Just search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you who has been able to make donations. Any size donation goes a long way to helping in the bunker. As you can see, in just the last week, we have made significant upgrades here. We have changed a lot of our equipment around, and we've done that thanks to great benefactors like you. Thank you so much for becoming partners and sponsors of the Renegades of Puck by going to Venmo. Now, it's time for me to deliver the no half step in goods, so let's get to it. It's operation number 672 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 672. And on this date in hockey history, the Nashville Predators find themselves in 6th place in the Central Division after 10 games played. Nearly 1/8 of the entire season is already complete. 3-6-1 is their record. They have 7 points. They find themselves 6 points behind first place Dallas. The Winnipeg Jets are in second place with 11 points. The Minnesota Wild also have 11 points. The Blackhawks are at 10 points. Then the Colorado Avalanche are at 9 points. Then you find the Preds in 6th with 7 points. St. Louis at 6, and Arizona is at 5. The Nashville Predators on the road, which is where their next game will take place, and their next couple of games will take place, have a record of 1-3 on the season. They have a goal differential of -10, 26 goals for, 36 goals against, and that is simply not getting done. As a matter of fact, the Preds have lost 7 out of their last 8 games, and this road trip continues, the customary CMA road trip, as we call it. This is when the team has an opportunity to get itself together. But after what we just witnessed, I'm not sure that is going to be happening. The Nashville Predators have lost 7 of their last 8 games, and now after this next game against the Calgary Flames in Calgary, Saturday the Preds will be in Vancouver, then Tuesday in Seattle, next Thursday at Colorado, before coming back home on the 12th of November to face off against the New York Rangers, and then the 15th of November against the Minnesota Wild. The regular season series between the Nashville Predators and the Calgary Flames, usually a testy one. Second game of the series will take place on 1/16, Nashville versus Calgary in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. And then all the way at the end of the season on April the 10th, the Nashville Predators will be in Calgary again to wrap up the 3-game season series. I guarantee you those points are going to be very important for the Nashville Predators. Taking a look at the Nashville Predators' next opponent, the Calgary Flames. They just wrapped up their game tonight. They now have a record of 5-3, 10 points, 5th in the Pacific Division on home ice. A record of 4-3. The majority of their games have been played on home ice so far this season. They have a +3 in the goal differential category. Taking a look at their most recent 5 games, on the 20th of October is a 6-3 loss versus the Buffalo Sabres. On the 22nd of October, a 3-2 overtime victory versus the Carolina Hurricanes. They followed that up on the 25th with a 4-1 victory versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, then a 3-2 loss versus the Edmonton Oilers. And on November the 1st, that was just earlier this evening, a 5-4 loss versus Seattle. It was Vladar in net, taking loss 21 out of 26 in that that game. Taking a look inside the matchups and the NHL rankings between these two teams, and it is decidedly in favor of the Calgary Flames in virtually every single statistical metric. So let's run through those right now. Goals for the Nashville Predators sit at 29th in the NHL, scoring only 2.6 per game. Calgary Flames, 3.50 per game, is 8th best in the NHL in goals against. The Predators are giving up 3.50 per game. That's funny. That's how many Calgary scores per game. And that's 24th worst in the NHL. Calgary giving up 3.13 per game is not great, but they are scoring more than they're giving up. 18th overall in the NHL. Shots for the Preds are at 19th, generating 30.1 per game on net. The Calgary Flames generating a massive 37.8 shots per game on goal. That is best for 3rd overall in the NHL. In shots against, Calgary is limiting their teams to 27.4 per game. That's 4th best overall in the NHL, while the Preds are 18th in the league, giving up 32.4 shots against. Special teams decidedly in favor of the Calgary Flames, but at least on the penalty kill, the matchup is a little bit more even. Calgary is the 13th best power play in the NHL, converting 7 times out of 30 opportunities, 23.3%, while the Nashville Predators have converted 5 times on 38 opportunities, 28th overall in the NHL by percentage, 13.2% of the penalty kill. Calgary is 7th. They've given up 6 power play goals against on the season. The Nashville Predators are 9th. They've given up 7 power play goals on the season. Now, we all know every single team in the NHL is full of skilled individuals and some incredibly high-skilled individuals at that. No doubt Calgary Flames has plenty of those. Their top individual stat leaders are Nazem Kadri, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points. Tyler Toffoli, 4 and 3 for 7. Anderson's at 1 and 6 for 7. Ritchie at 3 and 2 for 5. And Lindholm, 2 and 3 for 5. Lindholm usually plays very good against the Nashville Predators. Markstrom in net has a record of 4 and 1 and 903 save percentage of 2.60 goals against average. On the Nashville Predators side of the ledger come the individual statistics. Philip Forsberg leads the team in scoring. He has 3 goals and 7 assists for 10 points. Matt Duchene is at 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points. Mikhail Granlund, 1 and 8 for 9. Nino Niederreiter picked up another goal and leads the team with 5. Add 1 assist to that for 6 points in the season. Ryan Johansson, 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points. UC Saros, his numbers continue to look very bad at the beginning of the season here. 2-5-1 is the record. .898 save percentage, 3.17 goals against average. That's frankly not good enough. The team in front of him is not doing enough to really make this a critique on the goaltender this time. I'm just going to say the team numbers are bad, the goaltender's numbers are bad, and the stats overall offensively are fairly depressed for this point in the season, considering the high point totals that some of these players put up just a season ago. That gets you all set up for the next game of this road trip for the Nashville Predators in Calgary. It is not going to be easy. As a matter of fact, it's going to be incredibly difficult for this Nashville Predators team that's lost 7 out of 8 games to go in there and secure 2 points against the Calgary Flames. The Flames always play tough against the Nashville Predators. It's a very difficult building to go into, and right now the Preds simply don't have their mojo in any way, shape, or form. They do not look like the same team that we saw on the ice virtually all of last season, and since John Hines has been the head coach, this might be the worst stretch of hockey that this team has played. There's a lot to point out that is negative and a lot hard to find that is very positive at this point in time. Line changes, roster shifts, none of it seems to be making a difference. It might be time for the general manager, David Poile, to step in and make something happen. We'll talk about that as the show goes along. We've got a whole lot more to get to. Let's get up to the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Go back and take a look at the Nashville Predators' most recent game. Rebirth Sports, you can find their work at rebirthsports.com, or you can check them out online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They are vision makers. They absolutely have taken what I have created and turned it into a reality right here. They don't just make jerseys. They're hockey tailors, and they can outfit your entire operation. They're incredible people to work with, and I sure do appreciate the partnership we have with Rebirth Sports. You've seen the home, road, and third jersey for the Renegades of Puck. You've seen me wearing jerseys in tournaments and also in the U.S. Pond Hockey Tournament in Lake Nokomis, Minnesota. Rebirth Sports makes incredible threads, and you should outfit your organization with them today. Check them out, rebirthsports.com. Let's go back and check out the Rebirth Sports full game recap all the way back on November the 1st of the year 2022. The Nashville Predators are in Edmonton taking on the Oilers for the first time this season. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way: Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchene, Niederreiter, Johansson, and Sherwood back in the lineup and on the second line. Trenton Sissons and make up the third line. Smith, McCarron, and Tolvanen make up your fourth line. Yossi and Favreau, Ekholm and Carrier, McDonough and Luzon make up your defense pairings. UC Saros Yes, the starting net. We are only 34 seconds into the first period. Matthias Ekholm gets his first goal of the season. Matt Duchene plays the puck towards the net. Matthias Ekholm's crashing the slot hard. Perfect timing on the play leads to the Nashville Predators getting a 1-0 lead just 34 seconds into the game on the first shot on goal. 1:34 into the first period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Niemelainen. It's the first shot for Edmonton. 2:50 into the period. Saros comes up with a save on Hyman at the top of the crease. Shore hits the post at 3:05, and at 4:14, Kane scores his third goal of the season, ties game up at 1 apiece. It was Draisaitl's backhand pass across the slot off of the rush, and an absolute sick finish by Kane, tying this game up at 1 apiece. 4:34 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on McDavid. 7:25. Kane's on the score sheet again. Second goal of the period. Fourth goal of the season. Edmonton leads 2-1. It was Yamamoto to Draisaitl behind the net to Kane in the slot. One of the most fluid tic-tac-toe plays you're ever going to see in the NHL. This team is just absolutely dynamic and gifted on the offensive side of things, and it's hard not to just sometimes sit back and watch them do what they do. And that's exactly what the Nashville Predators would be doing at 7:51 of the first period. McDavid would get his 10th goal this season. He looks past, he shoots off of the rush. It would be time out for Nashville and John Hines. Oilers lead 3-1, 7:51 into the first period. At 10:21 of the first, Sherwood's off the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking. Cole Smith would hit the crossbar in a shorthanded opportunity. That's at least the fourth shorthanded opportunity that Cole Smith has missed putting the puck in the net in the last couple of games. Overall, it was a decent PK by the Nashville Predators. Very tough to shut down an Edmonton team. But 14:58, it does not matter because Ryan scores his first goal of the season, giving the Oilers that 4-1 lead they were looking for on the power play. It was a redirect at the back post after some slick puck movement. That's exactly what the Oilers were doing this entire first period. They looked Globetrotter-esque out there against the Nashville Predators. 16:57, Saros comes with a save on Hyman. 18:43, Saros another save on Kane off of the rush. And the first period comes to its conclusion with the Oilers leading 4-1 and outshooting Nashville 14-7. We go to the second period, 49 seconds in on the clean sheet. Campbell comes up with a save on Duchene off of the rush, but at 2:26, Carrier's off to the box, 2 minutes for interference, and any momentum is killed off immediately. Saros comes up with a save on McDavid. McDavid went 1-on-4 on the rush, and the absolute power to just push through and generate a really good shot on net. Saros had to come up with a good save right here. Edmonton would generate 4 total shots on goal on this power play. UC Saros would be incredibly strong in net. 6:35, Sherwood's off to the box for the second time in this game. This time 2 minutes for tripping. Saros comes with a save on McDavid at close range, and Saros comes with a save on Draisaitl from the left circle. But then McDavid, you're not going to deny him on the power play too many times. 11th goal this season after a face-off when he took the puck with speed and power directly to the middle of the ice, made one little shake, and the puck is in the back of the net. Edmonton has a 5-1 lead. 8:44, Kulak's off to the box, 2 minutes for something. Campbell stops Granlund 2 times at the side of the net. Johansson then converts for the Nashville Predators on the power play. His 4th goal of the season. It was a redirect in the slot. Good job by Ryan Johansson. He was bringing the jam in this game. He was noticeable multiple times. The Oilers still maintain a 5-2 lead, though, in this game on home ice. 10:49 of the second period. McCarron's off the box, 2 minutes for roughing. There was a huge hit on Ekholm. McCarron looked in to step up for his teammates, and the Oilers simply were not going to respond to any of these. They had a 5-2 lead. As a matter of fact, throughout the entire game, the Oilers refused to respond. And if you're going to be a big, bad, tough, physical team that goes out there and imposes your will on teams, if they're not going to engage in it in any way and you can't catch them in any way, well, you end up with results like you had tonight. So the Nashville Predators are back on the penalty kill, and they do just enough to survive. With the intermission of the second period, Edmonton is out shooting Nashville 28-16. 1:51 in the third period. The house band plays Axel F. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Not a lot to enjoy in this hockey game unless you're an Oilers fan. The house band playing Axel F., that's good stuff. Beverly Hills Cop, good movie. All right, back to it. 4:26. Yossi hits the post, but then 4:51, Philip Forsberg's able to get his third goal of the season. It was a one-timer from the circle, cutting Edmonton's lead to 2, 5-3 now in favor of the Oilers. 7:36 of the third period. Ekholm off to the box, 2 minutes for roughing. That's when Draisaitl would get his 5th goal of the season. It was backdoor from the low circle, giving the Oilers back their 3-goal lead, 6-3. 16:55, Barry's off to the box, 2 minutes for interference with UC Saros pulled. It's a 6-on-4 scenario. Nino Niederreiter's getting his 5th goal of the season. It was a low slot tip. Nice finish right there. Oilers lead 6-4, but then Evander Kane finishes off the hat trick with the empty net goal at 18:23, making it 7-4. That would be your final at 19:27. There would be a scrum, but again, the Oilers simply did not engage in the situation, and the game came to its logical conclusion. Nashville being outshot 37-23 in this game. And again, I think I already mentioned it. If you're going to go into someone's building and look to be physically imposing, look big, bad, and impose your will on them and your identity, well, first of all, you have to be able to get them to engage. And second of all, you have to be able to catch them. The Nashville Predators failed to do either of those things tonight. Whatever it was that their strategy was going into this game, they failed to make the adjustments needed once things started to get out of control early in the first period. And the Nashville Predators suffer yet another fairly embarrassing defeat at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, and mostly at the hands of Draisaitl and McDavid. Now listen, I understand many NHL teams are humiliated on a somewhat nightly basis by that duo for the Edmonton Oilers and that Edmonton Oilers offense. You got to start throwing Yamamoto's name in there as well. He doesn't get nearly the recognition because of the other two big names on the team, but he is a highly impressive, the amount of speed that he moves through the offensive zone with, and there's, of course, others, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, it just goes on and on with the Edmonton Oilers. But the Nashville Predators have been embarrassed by the Edmonton Oilers a number of times in the last couple of years. For Preds fans, it is the other side of the coin from when multiple years in a row, Pekka Rinne went into Edmonton and dominated the Oilers and frankly embarrassed the home club. Well, now McDavid and Draisaitl are making it a routine of embarrassing the Nashville Predators. The numbers are frankly staggering. I don't even need to go into it. It's a lot of points against the Nashville Predators by McDavid and Draisaitl. They're otherworldly, incredible offensive players, and the way the Edmonton Oilers move the puck with crispness and confidence, it's hard to understand how they have not been able to win it all at this point. Maybe this is the year, maybe this is the lineup. Who knows? What I saw tonight was one hell of a dynamic hockey team on the offensive side of things. And they weren't tested nearly enough defense, and they wouldn't engage physically. So all you know is they can outscore you and they can outrace you, and they can do that all night long, all season long, and maybe even into the playoffs. So we'll find out a lot more about the Edmonton Oilers. The Preds have 2 more games against the Oilers this season, but the Preds never really had a chance in this game. And the Edmonton Oilers looked like they were just toying with them at one point in the first period. We're going to go to Sean C. Smith from A to Z Sports right here. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. You can find his work at atozsports.com. You can check him out right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. He has the intel that you need to know, and I think he's got some pretty strong opinions to add along with that intel this evening. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith, and he's up right now.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades. Look, I'm going to level with you. I'm going to be as straightforward and honest as I can be. I think the first step of action the Predators need to take after that very disappointing loss to the Edmonton Oilers is for every skater on that team to sit down and write a letter to UC Saros in which they beg him to allow them to have the opportunity to apologize to him face-to-face. The team left UC Saros out to dry. When you have that many goals coming from passes from behind the net, it seems like somebody should pick up on that and be back there to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, look, it's the Edmonton Oilers. They have some pretty high-octane shooters out there, and they definitely got the job done tonight. It's not a matter of losing to a bad team. The Oilers have been on point all last week, going 4-0. They're continuing right along. But the reality is, you didn't see the Predators doing much of anything. So as far as the goalie talk goes, you can't hang that on Saros. There was a lot of guys on that ice that weren't where they were supposed to be to stop things from happening, and the Oilers are opportunistic and took every opportunity to take advantage when they could. Now, let's talk about what's going on with this team, because I can't sit here and break down goal by goal or go player by player because there's a lot. But let's do this. Okay. This team has talked a lot, and really the coach has talked a lot about identity, mentality, and getting back to playing the type of game they need to play that gives them the best chance to win each night. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what that is right now. And I don't mean that I haven't been paying attention. I mean that I've been paying very close attention, and I can't see a discernible identity. As much identity as John Hines has talked about with this team ever since he's taken over, and as much as it was very clear what that identity was last season, it's not so clear right now. Last season, the Predators were a team that were going to wear you down. They were going to grind you down slowly over the course of the game, and by the chance By the time the game was getting to an end, scoring would open up, and you saw that happen time and time again last season with the Preds playing a very heavy, physical game that sometimes crossed the line into the territory of too many penalties for the Preds to overcome. But it worked for the most part, got them into the playoffs, and while we may know what happened in the playoffs last season, at least they made it to the playoffs, right? This season isn't starting out that way, and this season isn't starting out the way I think anybody wants it to start out. Let's be very, very candid here. 6-3 or 3-6-1, almost slipped up. A little wishful thinking there. 3-6-1 is not a great start. It's not a hot start. It's not pretty. It's not anything anyone wants or expects. The team did a lot over the offseason to improve itself, and really, I thought the biggest question going into the season was who was going to play on the other wing opposite Nino Niederreiter on that line centered by Ryan Johansson. But that's kind of where the problem starts, and I think that's kind of where the problem remains. Let's not even get into the defense. I'm not sure what's going on there right now. It's kind of a hot mess. Guys have been playing out of position on purpose and then not on purpose, and it just hasn't been good. Not at all. Not great. But let's talk about the forwards. Who's going to play on this second line wing? It's been something that John Hines has juggled around every game, sometimes in the middle of games, including tonight. And really, the team's right back where they started. They started the season with Kiefer Sherwood playing on that other wing. Halfway through the second game, he was taken out in place of Eli Tolvanen. Tolvanen stayed for 4.5 games. You saw Yakov Trenin play in that spot. And then after that, you saw that big shift that seemed like it was going to work out pretty well. You saw the shift of Mikael Granlund being moved to second-line winger, Ryan Johansson being moved up to first-line center, and Cody Glass coming in to play second-line center. That lasted exactly one game after bad results, and Cody Glass didn't even play tonight. They were back to the same centers as before, and that second-line wing spot was filled out once again by Kiefer Sherwood, who, after 2 penalties, was moved down to the fourth line, and up came, hello, Game 2, Eli Tolvanen. And of course, you didn't see much out of them during this game. And that, I think, is the biggest part of this problem, is that there's so much jumbling and shifting going around these lines that these guys don't have an opportunity to build an identity. As much as we've seen lines like the third line or the herd line be very obvious with what they are, no question about what you're getting, they're not quite playing like that, and sometimes their lines getting messed around with as people get moved up to play on other lines as needed. And unfortunately, the fourth line, I'm not sure what's going on there, fellas. I'm not really sure what the plan is. It seems like you could put together a really solid fourth line that had a really good offensive upside with some still defensive responsibility if you centered it with Cody Glass, brought in Philip Tomasino up from the AHL, and put Eli Tolvanen on there as well. Certainly seems like that line would give you a much better chance to get some things done on the offensive side than you would get with guys like Michael McCarron, Kiefer Sherwood, Cole Smith, Zach Sanford. I could go on, but do I really need to? No. The thing is, I'm not sure what the plan is. I'm not sure what the identity is. A slow, grinding game doesn't work against a fast team like the Oilers. It didn't work 2 seasons ago against the Hurricanes. It definitely didn't work in the playoffs last season against the Avalanche. It's not going to work. You can't smash in the mouth what you can't catch. And as long as teams are blowing by you, you just kind of look silly out there flailing around trying to make a hit when the opportunity arises. This team can't get its identity together. And as long as it doesn't have an identity, it's not going to do much on the ice. I'm not going to say that things are dire, but things aren't looking very good. Bleak is kind of the word I'd use right now. I know you come to the Renegades of Puck for a healthy dose of truth every time we put something out, and that's about as honest as I can get. Everybody owes an apology to the goalie. The defense is a mess, and quite frankly, so is the offense. You need the top-line guys to be the top-line guys. And night in and night out, they just don't look like the top-line guys. And everybody can say, oh, Sean, well, you know, they had career seasons last season. You're going to regress, and regression's terrible. And, you know, regression is bad, but this is beyond regression. This is not good. And until things start getting good, it's going to continue to be just this way. And unfortunately, over this next string of games, which everyone's expected to stay up extra late for, you're getting ready to tune in to a whole lot of mess unless they can figure something out pretty quick. Charlie, that's about all I got. I'm not sure what else I could say that would make anything any better, so I'm going to send it back over to you.
You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. You can check out his work at A2ZSports.com, and you can also watch him and listen to him right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. Sure to appreciate Sean jumping in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck and filing that report. Talk about a great partner of the show, Strong Style Fitness. With the late start today, that gave me an opportunity to jump in the trenches with Strong Style Fitness and get in a lower body workout. Not sure if I'm going to make it up the set of steps that lead from the bunker back to the barracks, but I'm sure going to try. Strong Style Fit, an incredible personal trainer. Over 150 workouts available free to you, Renegades of Puck, over there on YouTube. Check out their work, strongstylefit.com. Strong Style Fitness can also be found on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Certified personal trainer that absolutely loves assisting the Renegades of Puck. So whether it's your first stretch off the couch or your journey to fitness has been going on for a long time, she has a workout that's all designed for you, and she can go ahead and take care of you. That's Strong Style Fitness. Incredible partner here to the Renegades of Puck. Let's talk about a little bit of analysis from this game. UC Saros, 30 out of 36. The numbers are just abysmal. But again, this cannot be singly blamed on the goaltender UC Saros. The team in front of UC Saros, offensively, defensively, they're not doing anything very well or very crisp. And at this level, the NHL, one mistake, it's in the back of your net. And you can see that's happening to the Nashville Predators over and over again. They're unable to put together multiple crisp passes in a row to put the puck into the net or at least generate a great scoring opportunity, and they are unable to defend their own zone for more than a couple of passes in a row before someone slips and gets loose, finds some open ice, and next thing you know, the puck is in the back of the Nashville Predators net. So UC Saros cannot be single-handedly blamed for this loss or, honestly, for the majority of the issues that he's had. But his numbers look bad because the team looks bad in front of him. UC Saros has turned around some bad Octobers. Now that we are into November, maybe he will be able to turn that around. Philip Forsberg, goal and 2 assists for 3 points in this game, and I thought that he has looked really strong on the puck the last couple of games. Philip Forsberg becomes more and more noticeable as he tries to carry the puck through the zone. You can see he does it with authority, much like some of the top-end players in the NHL, but not as often and not nearly as much as a McDavid or a McKinnon. But when Philip Forsberg is going right and his offensive game is working, he drives the net hard, he makes incredible moves, and he has a lot of creativity, and we're seeing a little bit more of that coming out in each game. So for the slow start that he has had, Philip Forsberg does have 10 points in 10 games this season, averaging a point per game. Not so bad. Maybe starting to heat up by the end of this road trip. He could find himself with 3-4 more goals without much difficulty. He usually does pretty good on the CMA road trip. Also, Mikhail Granlund, 3 assists in this game. Mikhail Granlund continues to be a world-class distribution service now. 8 assists leads the Nashville Predators in assists, and he has 9 points. That's second on the team in scoring, and when he is dealing, he really deals some sick pass. He's a great passer. He has incredible vision. And again, he's a world-class distribution service. And it's just something I wanted to make note of and point out as a positive. Mikhail Granlund continues moving the puck really well. Good to see him back at center. The D got scorched again. This is obviously, we got to start talking about some of the negatives because the Nashville Predators got absolutely torched in this game. Look, I know that the Edmonton Oilers are on another level, and maybe somehow this gives the Preds an advantage moving forward. Maybe they can find something in this defeat. Maybe that they saw such a high caliber, crisp, fast-moving offense that now when they go into Calgary, which is also an incredibly good offense, maybe the game will seem just a little bit slower. I'm just really reaching. I know, and I'm trying to find any thread, but 10 games through the season, the Nashville Predators are frankly a disappointment, and that's being kind about it. So I'm trying to find any thread that I can. Maybe getting your ass kicked by the Oilers up to that degree was enough to make you find the next gear. So the D getting scorched again, it's not what I expected. When you add Ryan McDonough to this D core that was not that bad last year, I expected them to make improvements. I didn't expect them to be better. I mean, after all, Ben Harper is out and Ryan McDonough is in. The D core should be better just because of the words I just said. but it's not. Let's talk to you about the box score. There are actually some numbers compared to the last one, so I'm going to honor the segment, and I'm going to go ahead and read you the box score. Philip Forsberg was one of the goal scorers. Ryan Johansson had a goal. Niederreiter with a goal, and Matthias Ekholm with his first goal of the season. In the assists column, Mikhail Granlund led the team in assists with 3. Matt Duchene had 2. Philip Forsberg had 2, and the captain, Roman Josi, did get an assist in this game. Shots on net, Matthias Ekholm led the team with shots on goal with 5 blocked shots. Tanner Jeannot led the team with 5, and Alex Carrier also had 5 hits. I don't believe that these numbers are fully accurate. I think that maybe the Edmonton building is one of those places that exaggerates, and I say that because so many players have higher hit totals than they have in any game in box score this season. Nino Niederreiter with 7 hits. That's not unreasonable. Cole Smith with 7 hits. That's not unreasonable, but Cole Smith only played 10 minutes and 38 seconds in time on ice. I don't remember Cole Smith delivering that many hits. Matthias Ekholm did have 6 hits in this game. Colton Sissons also had 6 hits in this game. And Colton Sissons is something else I probably needed to throw into the discussion here. Brian Baston, who we're going to hear from momentarily. As a matter of fact, we're going to throw it to Brian Baston as soon as I'm done with this topic. I'm going to introduce Brian Baston with this topic. Brian pointed out, and he made a statement about Colton Sissons earlier this evening on his Twitter account while he was observing the game. And he said that, frankly, he's not seen very much from Colton Sissons through the first 10 games of the season. Offensively, not existing at all, and defensively, which is what he has mostly been known for throughout his career, being an incredibly strong, two-way, defensive-minded center that wins face-offs at critical moments. Right now, Colton Sissons is not performing at that level, and it feels very odd, strange. Colton Sissons has been on this team a long time, and I can't recall critiquing him to this high a degree too many times in his career as a Nashville Predator. Perhaps there is an injury under the surface that we're not quite aware about. Of course, I am willing to give Colton Sissons a break, benefit of the doubt, and be patient with him. He has had such a steady career as a Nashville Predator that I have to think that there's something going on, because the whole team in general is underperforming. Everyone on the team is underperforming, but Colton Sissons seems to be sticking out. And tonight he had one really good scoring opportunity, and he just did not look like the same Colton Sissons that we expect. Brian Baston is the one who introduced that topic on his Twitter feed. You should follow Brian on Twitter, at Brian Baston. He's got the numbers you need to know. He's got the charts you need to see. He's working with the Nashville Predators broadcast, which Stick Taps love and respect to them for bringing Brian in and utilizing Brian's galaxy brain when it comes to the numbers. Brian is a very, very intelligent analyst when it comes to what we do here. So why don't I let Brian talk to you? Brian also feeling the frustrations a little bit. From ontheforecheck.com, you can find his work right there, and you can listen to him right now on the Renegades of Puck podcast. He's Brian Baston.
Another game and another embarrassing loss for the Nashville Predators, as their record falls to just 3-6-1 after their first 10 games of the season in what is just a blowout. Yes, Nashville did keep it pretty close throughout. Towards the end there, they did get it within 2 goals, but unfortunately that's not enough, especially against the better teams. And that's what we saw last season. Nashville was able to keep up with a lot of the teams, but the teams that had that high firepower offense, like Colorado and Edmonton, Nashville just has absolutely no answer for. In fact, let's talk about some of the struggles that the team has had, over the last few years. And let's discuss some of the things that may be going into those. And that's going to be the topic of tonight's, several big stats. First off, we saw 2 more shots go off the post or the crossbar tonight. One with Cole Smith, who seems to have had unlimited chances this season so far and hasn't yet to convert on any of them. And then one by Roman Josi late in the third period. When it comes to those types of shots, since the beginning of the 2020-21 season, Philip Forsberg leads the team with 18 shots off the crossbar or post, followed by Josi, who's brought his total up to 16 after tonight, and then Duchene with 12. Now, that kind of seems like those are the names that you would expect to see, but this isn't something that the team has really it's been limited to just these guys. They've had a tremendous amount of pucks that are just missing, and unfortunately, those don't even count as shots on goal. But let's look at one more stat. The next stat is, like I said before, the Predators have started this season 3-6-1, which is their worst 10-game stretch since last year, back in starting on January 27th to the beginning of March, when they only had 10 games in that that span with the All-Star break, but they went 2-6-2. Now, granted, they did go improve and go in 6-4-0 after that. But Nashville may not have that much time to try to turn around that type of season. Remember, that was towards the last third of the season last year, and Nashville had some points to give at that point. Nashville doesn't have anything to build off of with this 10-game start. They have to improve it fast, and unfortunately, it's not looking well. Their next 4 games are against Calgary, who has only gotten better since last season. Seattle, who has scored 3 goals in several games fairly recently and just gave Calgary everything they could handle. And then, of course, you've got Colorado, which, I just can't imagine that Nashville's going to be able to keep that one too close. Their only saving grace is a trip on Saturday night at 9 p.m. here Central Time in Nashville, where they play another team that's been scraping the bottom of the barrel of the league, and that's at the Vancouver Canucks. I fully expect if that game does not go well for the Nashville Predators, we may be in line to see some major changes. No matter how early we might think it might be time for something to happen with this Nashville Predators team. And that is tonight's one big stat. Charlie?
It's inching closer and closer every day. Spots are starting to fill up. Remember, this is a limited and exclusive road trip, but you can join the Renegades of Puck through our partnership with Ships and Trips Travel on the road trip of a lifetime to Las Vegas for New Year's Eve to watch the Nashville Predators take on the Vegas Golden Knights and then celebrate New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, Renegades of Puck style. We are looking forward to getting out there and meeting and greeting and partying with each and every one of you. I mean, after all, whatever happens in Vegas is going to come back and be reported on this show. So we're going to go have a good time, and we're really going to blow out the year 2022 and welcome in 2023. It's the road trip of a lifetime. Go to renegadesofpuck.com/Vegas to learn more, or go to shipsandtripstravel.com and you'll be able to sign up and register and get your spot reserved. And please do so as soon as possible. And if you're looking for that incredible gift for the hockey fanatic in your life, a road trip to Vegas to see the Preds play the Golden Knights on New Year's Eve is a pretty good suggestion. Go ahead and use that one. Get in touch, Ships and Trips Travel today, and let them know you want to join us for the road trip of a lifetime in Las Vegas. As we talked about in the last episode, I am now the voice of the USPHL Nashville Spartans here in Nashville, Tennessee. And over the weekend, the first series of games took place, and I had the honor of calling my first games as the voice of the Nashville Spartans. And the first highlights and the first clips are starting to emerge from the weekend of coverage. It was a fantastic weekend. Please, I urge and encourage all of you, get involved and follow the Nashville Spartans. It is another level of this incredible hockey community we have here in Middle Tennessee. The USPHL, it's incredible to have them here in Middle Tennessee, along with the NHL and, of course, college and high school hockey, rec league hockey, youth league hockey, and all of the other different levels of hockey that we have here in Middle Tennessee. Now, a thriving hockey community, and the Spartans are a big part of that. And got to tell you, real damn proud of being a very tiny part of that and for being the voice. Here is the first highlight you're going to get to listen to of me calling a hockey game as a play-by-play analyst.
Looking to develop a rush and get through the neutral zone, and they have done just that as Williams carries the puck through, and he's going to get a scoring chance that's going to be stopped again by Corbin. Corbin is off to an incredible start to this game in the first 7.5 minutes. I'll have to get you the save totals coming up here at the first opportunity, but that is at least 7, if not 8, quality saves in the first period for Cade Corbin out of Columbia, Tennessee, coming on back home just a few miles from his hometown. Looking mighty good here in Nolensville.
That was me right there in the perch calling Nashville Spartans versus Columbia Infantry hockey in the USPHL last weekend. Looking forward to getting back in the perch coming up here in just a couple of weeks and calling the games against the Mad Hatters and the Nashville Spartans. Going to be a great time. Make sure you come on out to the rink. Check out your tickets. It's easy to find, NashvilleSpartans.com. They're very, very easy to find. Very good people, very good group. I love what they're putting together right there, and I'm going to be a big part of that here as the team grows and expands and as that hockey scene continues continues to grow here in this city. I really feel strongly about that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Renegades of Puck podcast. I got a note just before we came into the bunker that perhaps our hype man has sent along something, but we're just going to have to see exactly what that is. You just get handed a note when you're walking out with the intel that says the Ultimate One has something he sent over. Well, we're going to go ahead and close the show with that. So we'll close the show with the Ultimate One, and I'll just say this for now, Renegades. Stick taps, love, and respect. We'll be back in the bunker covering the Calgary Flames and Nashville Predators Thursday night. We'll have it fully wrapped up. We'll have the audio podcast up in the nighttime. We'll have the video podcast up the next morning. And please, if you would, share those links and follow us on all the different social media platforms and outlets. It really would help us out a lot. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. All the love. Stick taps, love, and respect. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier.